Big guy, big moves, set free, lit blonde. That's how we living.
It's your girl, really, what it was, though, really. So, today's January 11th. Shout out to all my, what we in, bruh? Is it the Capricorns? Shout out to your Zodiacs in the comments. Aquarius season is coming up, period. Shout out to all the aquas. It's almost our time. Shout out to my aquas. So today's January 11th. Shout out to TC Nation. The Lord says to do everything discreetly. So you know the vibes at TC right now. Shout out to y'all for standing strong and dedicated. We got this. So today is day 2, and I'm feeling really encouraged, y'all. The enemy definitely tried to whisper a few lies into my ear to kind of, get me off focal points. And I could definitely say started to consider a few things. Shout out to my TC Belong group for just keeping me in focus. And just GOD period for just really showing me and anchoring me in what I'm doing it for. And so today is day 2. During this time, of course, we're just really intentional about prayer. And I definitely can thank my Father for my prayer voice increasing and just being able to commune with him in a stronger way. So today, after I did just be hot, humble, open, and transparent about my current mental state or thoughts, with my Belong group, I was able to come to a better understanding, and God just gave me a total new fulfillment. And so I had to go take my work laptop to FedEx to send it back because I work from home. And I just really give God the glory for that situation as well, because this weekend was just so crazy for me. The enemy was really just weighing me down. And we always say it's the enemy, but sometimes, and I know in that instance, the thought came to my mind and I had a choice to either act in my flesh and my own understanding or to do what the Lord has told me. And I chose to act in my flesh. And so in that moment, I made a decision that wasn't very smart out of anger. And so I had to go through a situation where I had to return my work laptop. And so I was doing that today. As I was doing that, I don't have a car yet. So I had to take Lyft to go take my work laptop to the FedEx. I get to the FedEx. Well, first I called them because, guys, I really didn't know what to do. Praying out a shipping label, trying to return a FedEx package, all that is really above me. You feel me? And so I got ready to go take my package back, and I called them, and they're like, okay, well, this is the location you need to go to. So I went there on the Lyft. Got there, and they're like, oh, that type of label, you got to go to this location. And so I'm like, okay. I didn't get upset. I didn't get angry. I'm not like, oh, I got to spend so much money, which I normally would do. But for some reason, shout out to GOD, I just know he has my back. And so I just put it in for the Lyft, and shout out to all my ATLians. It was in Ponce City. Now, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't really know a lot about Atlanta. I grew up in Marietta, in which when you're in Marietta, you think you know everything about Atlanta. You're like, yo, I'm from the A, until you get to the A, and you're like, yo, I'm really not from the A. So I get to Ponce, right? And Ponce is just dope. I'm just enjoying the vibes in the car, looking at all just the beautifulness of Atlanta, just loving the culture and the vibes. And I get to Ponce, and it's just super dope. The UPS store that I went to was in this shopping plaza with this theater called the PLAZA, I believe. I'm going to put it down in the link. Drop some comments and help your girls out on my ATLians. So I go into the FedEx, and I'm repping the Simply hoodie. Shout out to G. And I put my package in. I sell it. Well, I purchase it get everything done and get my package off. And as I was getting ready to go, the clerk is like, what's it, productions? What do you do? And I'm like, oh, this is just my little production company. She's like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I write movies and shows. I produce and write TV shows. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm an actress. I'm like, yo, for real? Give me your info. Took down her Instagram. She's like, I'm not really on Instagram right now. I'm taking a break. I'm like, sis, me too. Took down her Instagram, took down her email. And I just seen the weight of God's glory. I took her info down and it just mind blew me, y'all. Like, it mind blew me because here I am. And let me finish. I'm sorry. I got excited. So I took down her info, you feel me? Walked out. I had already requested my lift, but I was waiting. And so I sat down. And when I first came in, I was just taken aback by this theater. Like, it was so ancient, so antique. And I just went up to the door. I saw people going in. I really think it was just a regular movie theater, but it just looked so dope. And so I'm just looking at the place, you know what I'm saying? I go up to the door. The lady's like, are you trying to come in? I'm like, nah. Like, I'm just good looking at it. And I sat down and I'm waiting on my lift. And I'm like, yo, God, what are you doing? Like, what are you up to, Father? Thank you for whatever you're up to. Like, I'm taken back by this lady being encouraged or just speaking life or into just this hoodie of my production company. And so I overhear this conversation with this guy that I believe worked at the theater. And he's like, yeah, I think I believe this is what my ears picked up. I put on my first production here, my first film. It was like a children's movie. And, you know, in that moment, yo, I just had to thank G. Literally, here I am, turning in my work laptop from a mistake that I made, a knowingly mistake that I made on my behalf out of my own flesh. I'm returning my work laptop to get a new one because I can't even work right now. I'm on work stop. I'm turning this in, and literally in that moment, someone inquires and God plants a seed into the purpose he gave me. When I tell y'all that God is intentional, plot twist, shout out to Apostle Diamond. What the enemy comes to plant, what he comes to use to destroy you, God allows it because he orchestrated something amazing. I am turning in my work laptop. Listen to me, y'all. I really don't even have no money. I was blessed to get this money that I had to even take the lift to go there from my kid's dad. And that wasn't even supposed to happen. Listen to God, y'all. I turned in my work laptop. Mind you, I cannot work right now. I'm out of work until I can get a new laptop. So here I am turning in my work laptop, wearing my Simply Brilliance production hoodie that God blessed me to get to make. Shout out to G. Now, this lady's asking me, what is that? What is that? Even I have to apologize because in that moment, I said, oh, it's my little film production company. Baby, this is a big film production company. And even in that moment, God still allowed the seed to be planted. I took down her information. She's like, what's your name? I'm like, Brilliance. Y'all, God is a really big God. I am so in love with this. Even in that moment, it took away any second thoughts of wanting to do anything different in this time. God, I am right here with you. May your will be done. Shout out to Legacy Leadership in Fayetteville, Georgia with Apostle Valerie Virgin. Unusual Expectations. Shout out to TC. Y'all, God is up to something. God is up to something dynamic. For anybody who started 22 and it's looked at crazy, for anybody who thought it was all over at the end of 21 and 22, we just walking in purpose, know that we serve a God who does not tell lies he can't. If he said it, he's gonna do it. I want to encourage you right now to open your spiritual gates, open your ears, close this up, because I use this gate all the time, but God is teaching me to use these gates. Y'all, God is up to something big. And even just taking down that information, in hindsight, it could have appeared to be very small. But y'all, here I am turning in my work laptop to a job that I don't even want to be at. That I've been praying for God to push me into purpose. And here he is showing me that what I said is so. Even at that theater, hearing that guy say that this is where I had my first production, God was showing me the fulfillment of his promise, y'all. Simply Brilliance Productions is so. Your vision is so. What you wrote down is so. I encourage anybody right now who's going through this time to make the vision plain. Have it written down. Get it in your spirit. Speak it when the world tells you you're crazy. When the world tells you that you're not living in reality. When the world tries to tell you that you just dreaming, that this ain't gonna happen, that ain't gonna happen. Guard these gates. Guard them. Because God is showing himself. And he's showing us to encourage us to not give up. I thought about maybe I could do, here and there, maybe time frames. God, I'm all in. I'm all in, because can't nobody change my life the way you have. Can't nobody speak life over me the way you have. And God is just dope, y'all. So I had to drop in and drop that testimonial. G.O.D. is real big. He's a real big guy. He's a real big guy. Shout out to Simply Music. G.O.D., I want to rap again. I trust you to let me do it. Y'all, I'm excited. It's January 11th. It's your girl, Billy, coming to you with a this is really real for real. Our God is real, y'all. Stay encouraged.
It's not about the platform. It's not about the network. It's not about the paper chasing, but it's all about the purpose chasing. You see,